time for another inbox featuring some more of those dramatic pauses that we all like so much. At least I do. Gives me time to think, but act like I'm being dramatic. First question is from Riot65. He says, I have a couple questions about the BFG AGEA physics accelerator card. Where would I insert this on my computer? You insert it on the inside of the computer. It goes into a PCI slot. Those are the ones that look like this picture that the editor is going to put on the screen right now. He says, but I'm going to correct his mistake. Will it support older games like Counter-Strike Source? No. I can't believe you would ask me that. You have Google right there. All you had to do was put that into Google, and you would get all kinds of forums with people saying the exact same thing. How much does it cost? Again, all you had to do was type it into our website or even into Google, and at the time of making this video, it would have said it's $124. And we're not making a lot of money on those. I actually checked our cost. We're not making that much money on those things at all. However, don't buy them. Oh, they get mad at me for saying things like that. Do not buy one of those things. Here's the reason why. nVidia just bought AGEA. And since they bought AGEA, the AGEA cards, you're not going to see those out there too much more. And they do it. Now, here's the way AGEA works. The physics processor, it's a processor that has tens of processors, not hundreds or thousands. It's got a lot of little processors, and they render physics in your games, but the game has to be written to take advantage of the AGEA physics. Now, there's a handful of games, not that many. The best one out there, probably Unreal Tournament 3, that works with AGEA physics. There's another game called Warmonger. It's an average game. Now, what nVidia is doing is they're taking that. They have hundreds of processors on their graphics cards. Since they bought that company, later on this year, they're going to be releasing some software that you can install. It's like sort of like drivers for the AGEA physics. And what that'll do is that'll actually enable all the stuff that used to take place on that BFG AGEA physics card to take place on your graphics card. So you'll download this little patch later on in the year when nVidia releases it. As long as you've got an 8 or 9 series card, like the 8400 through the 8800 through the 9800 or newer, you're going to be able to use the AGEA physics. So in all those different games, yeah, you know where I'm getting. That's kind of cool, huh? I think it's neat. It's neat. That was awesome. Next one is from Sticks with 2 X's. I just built a new system. Specs are, here's the specs, put them on the screen. Asus P5e, Q9300, EVGA 8800 GTS 512. 4 gigabytes Corsair Dominator memory, replacing an Asus P5KE, Q6600, 8600 GT, and Super Challenge memory. I've done some benchmarking and haven't seen much difference between the two systems. From what I've read, the Q9300 is not that much better than the Q6600. Both systems run fine at 3 gigahertz, but I'm not seeing the results I thought I would. I can't seem to get my memory to run at 1066. Any suggestions in the BIOS to achieve faster, stable speeds from the CPU and the RAM? Let me know. If and when, okay, yada, yada, okay. Dude, you like upgraded from the same thing to the same thing. That is such a similar upgrade. I can't believe you replaced all those components with almost the same components, except you're gonna see like 10% difference with the Q6600 and the Q9300. If you have a Q6600, for the sake of heavens and Zeus's Sith, or what does he have? No, it's a bifurcated, no, it's a trifurcated. It's a pitchfork, right? It's a trifurcated pitchfork. For the love of Zeus's trifurcated pokey thing. Not that. Why would you do that? If you have a Q6600, don't get a Q9300. There's like 10% difference. It's not really worth it. If you're gonna upgrade, get something bigger than a Q whatever. For real, dude. Now the graphics card, I can see that upgrade. You should see a big difference in the upgrade from the graphics card. The 8600 GT and the 8800 GTS. Big difference, okay? Now, if you want to push that RAM a little further, I don't have too much experience with the Super Talent memory, and you didn't write down the model number, so I don't know what voltages that memory can support. You might want to try adding a little voltage. Go into the BIOS. Sometimes you try to push the memory, and the memory goes, no. Well, you'll need to add a little more voltage so it can support the higher frequency. Voltage, higher frequency voltage means heat, bad. Make sure there's case fans so the heat and the voltages don't get out of hand. I'm rapping here. Also, If you want to make the CPU run a little faster, add some cooling, add a little voltage, then you can push everything else. The main goal is to get the CPU frequency as high as possible, but keep the voltage as low as possible. But you do have to raise the voltage every now and again to support the higher frequencies that you want to get to, but you got to make sure you have good cooling. All right, next one's from Bjorn in Norway, one of my favorite places in the world that I haven't been to yet. One day. Probably won't come back. I'm wondering what graphics card I can get that's good enough to run newer games but doesn't have the equivalent of a jet engine attached to it. For me, silence is more important than performance, as my system is running 24/7 in my bedroom. Silence is golden. And I have a card that's not golden, but it sparkles, a Sparkle 8800 GT that's passively cooled with a heatsink, no fan whatsoever, so it makes zero noise. Now it does run a little higher on the temperature scale, around 90 Celsius, but hey, we benchmarked it for hours playing Crysis. It's an 8800 GT, so you're going to be able to play Crysis. That's right, and passively cooled. I didn't think anybody could do it. Sparkle also is a very large company. They're not that big in the USA, but they just, they came over here. They're an Asian company. And I actually like Sparkle a lot. A lot. I'm serious. I wouldn't mess with me if I were you. All right, the last question of the day is from the United Kingdom. It's from SDOTB from UK. That name stands for some dude other than Bob, I think. So, some dude other than Bob. Maybe his name's Bob and he's being ironic. British people are funny like that. They're funny in a lot of other ways too. Hey Logan, I'm building a gaming rig for the first time. I got all the stuffs except the OS. I'm confused what to buy because there's a Windows Vista, there's a Windows Vista Service Pack 1, and there's a Windows Vista upgrade. What should I buy? Well, make sure you're picking up an OEM version of the software because you're going to save a lot of money. And basically what you get, if you buy the regular version, you get a big box with shiny plastic. Oh, it looks so nice. It opens kind of strange. It opens like this instead of opening like this. It kind of opens upward like it's like a Lamborghini door or something. And you're going to be killing the environment with all that extra plastic. You bad person. So get the OEM version. It comes in a sleeve, a paper sleeve, like an envelope. And it's the same thing except due to legal limitations, it must be sold with some hardware. We'll probably include a fan or something ridiculous like that because we found a loophole. The legal process, the loophole. I'm not allowed to say any of this stuff, but I don't even care. So pick up that. Don't get the upgrade unless you have Windows XP and you're going to be upgrading from XP, because with the upgrade you cannot install it unless XP is always on there. So no upgrade. And if you want Service Pack 1, go ahead and get the one with Service Pack 1. I've been running it okay. Eric's been running it okay. There's been a lot of people on forums complaining that Service Pack 1 created a lot of trouble, so do your homework first. Look up your, all the hardware you're using. Go onto some forums and see if anybody's been having any problems with that specific hardware. Like I said, I have not. Eric has not here at work, but some people have. You could always just get the regular version of Vista and then upgrade to Service Pack 1 because it's free on your own. So if you want to send me an email, you can do that. Logan at CompUSA.tv. Or you can send a video response to this, just respond it right here on YouTube. And try to make it a video, because lately everybody keeps sending me video responses that are really just scrolling text that they made. You're cheaters. And the government's going to find you for cheating. Because if you cheat on the video, oh man, you probably cheat on everything. Lazy. You lazy. I'm sure you got a video camera or a webcam or something. Goodbye.